I'm going to start the story time off by saying something that I want you to keep in mind. And towards the end of the story time, I'm going to go and fetch this point and tie it back in. No amount of being a good person guarantees that your loved ones, friends, family, and even lovers, number one, will see your value, or two, see it and acknowledge it, treat you accordingly. I'll say it again. No amount of being a good person, a great person, an amazing person, the best person, guarantees that your loved ones, friends, families, lovers, one, will actually see your value, or two, see it and actually treat you like you are of value. So I'm going to give you guys two story times. I'm going to cut them kind of shortish because this is twofold. I've been in a situation where I haven't treated somebody who is valuable like I saw their value. In fact, I didn't see their value. And two, I have been, or at least what I thought, the best of people to some people, and they've never treated me like I was of value. So the first story was a guy I met. This guy, when I think back to him and I think of the woman I am today, a part of me wishes I had met him now and not then. So I had come out of a relationship with my ex-boyfriend, and this was that relationship that was when they say that those relationships that happen and it kind of just introduces you to more adult relationships, or it's that relationship that's the turning point, that relationship that shows you some deep stuff happens up in this bitch. So he was that guy for me. I was so into this man. I thought I was going to marry him. I brought him around my family. I thought this was it. This was the guy. We had our problems, but I still somehow convinced myself this was the guy for me. And I brought him around my family, and unfortunately, him and I broke up. Things were not working out. They were just not working out. It didn't matter how much we tried. It didn't matter how much I threw into that relationship, because Lord knows I threw into that relationship. I gave that guy my all. We just didn't work out. So we broke up, and I was in a very dark space for years. Not months, years. When I say years, I mean I was not dealing with a guy, giving them any attention, nothing, for like a good solid 3 to 4 years. And for me to actually now start dating, getting in an actual relationship, was 7 years after this man. So me and my ex-boyfriend had broken up. It had probably been about 3 years, 4 years after the fact. And I met this guy. It was one of those things where there was no DM, none of that. We met out. He came up to me. He introduced himself. And even the way he introduced himself, it was in such a dignified manner. Came looking good, suave, like he had suave. He had his suit. He was just that guy. And he came to me and he introduced himself respectfully, the way I want guys to approach me now. I don't know what I was thinking back then. Now I'm like, the grown Lala wants guys to approach me this way. Came to me, was very respectful, introduced himself, asked if perhaps he could take my number and maybe we could go on a date to get to know each other, and I agreed. And I remember even going on this date, a part of me was feeling very iffy because, again, I was so skeptical and so afraid of getting my heart broken like this. And but I agreed to go on the date. I even remember what I wore on this date. I remember not really doing makeup or anything because I felt like, whatever, I'm just going on this date because I'm going on this date. And I remember where he took me was so nice. It was just not like anything I had done before. And it wasn't nice because it was expensive, although it was, but it was nice because there was thought put into it. He was taking me out to go and enjoy some good food. And we went there, and I remember the whole night we were talking about our goals. We were talking about, where he sees himself, where I see himself. And I remember on that date feeling like I'm not in that place yet. I'm not thinking of what's happening to me in the next 4 or 5 years. I'm thinking of what's happening to me right now. And right now I'm not having a good time. My heart is still broken, even though this guy and I broke up like 4 years ago. And I remember I was still enjoying kind of coming back out onto the scene and kind of getting my feet wet again and discovering the type of guys I wanted and this, that, and the other. And he knew what he wanted. It was very clear by the conversation. This guy knew what he wanted. So we spoke, we had conversation. He was really good to me, such a gentleman. He told me what he wanted, his goals, his this, his that, his this. I remember even during the date, like him ordering me food. I mean, just imagine this. Imagine you have this guy ask you on a date and he's legit like, I don't want you to stress. I'll come to your house and I'll fetch you. Or if you're feeling uncomfortable, I can send a cab to come and fetch you. He came and he fetched me. We pulled up to this lovely restaurant, a restaurant that I had seen many times here in Sandton, but I didn't. And the reason I bring that is because it's where I live. I'm around here. So it was a place I was frequently seeing. And I just didn't think to go into that space. And he comes and he's like, this is the restaurant we're going to. He opens the door for me. I'm wearing a black polo neck, a black pencil skirt, high heels, and when we walk, he's already giving me his arm like this so that I can hold him because, I mean, high heels is high heels. You know, you got to respect that game. And we get in there. He pulls my seat out. We sit down. It's candlelit. He's talking to me. He's sharing his ideas with me. There was just nothing pretentious about this guy. He was a gentleman. He was a gentleman. And the date was amazing. But emotionally, I was not there. And I remember at the end of the date, he was like, are you ready to go? This, that, and the other. And he remained so polite throughout. And on the way home, I remember as we approached approaching my house, I said to him, thank you so much for this date. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see each other soon. And he said to me, Lala, you're not ready for me. You're not ready for what I want to give you. You're not ready. I see it. I feel it. You're not ready. You're not ready. And I'm not saying that to make you feel bad, mommy. We all go through stuff. And I'm sure what you went through was super painful. But you're not ready for me. And I don't want to stay in a place where I'm not needed or wanted. So take care of yourself. And I'm sure I will see you around, but I don't want to waste your time and I don't want my time to be wasted either. And I remember getting out of his car, not feeling much. I know one would expect me to feel hurt and this, I really wasn't, because he wasn't lying. He wasn't lying. And I said goodnight to him and I went into the house and I slept pretty peacefully. Like I was grateful for the date. I enjoyed it, but he wasn't lying. I wasn't ready for it. And time went by. I mean, a good year to close to 2 years where I didn't see this guy. He didn't call me to ask me on another date. He called me to check up on me like, hey, how have you been? You good? You good? But never to say, let's go on another date. So a year or 2 years down the line, or close to 2 years down the line, I ran into him randomly. And he came over. He was really happy to see me. I was happy to see him. We spoke a bit and we kind of left it at that. Is your number still the same? Yes, it is. Cool, cool, cool. Next thing, one day this guy calls me and he says, I want to take you on a date, Lala. I hope that you're open to it. Can I take you on a date? And I say, yes, sure, let's go on a date. And he said to me, I want to try something different. I got a new place and I would love for you to come see it, but I also want to cook for you. Can I cook for you? Are you good with that? And I said, why not? Why not? Yes, you can cook for me. And he invited me over for dinner. When I say this place was incredible. Like he was staying on something like the 11th floor. The view from his patio or whatever you would call it, balcony, was exquisite. This was like a view that you don't often see. and everything was well decorated, and I could see everything that he had been saying he was working hard on when him and I went on that date. He was well within that. And we spent time together talking, sharing ideas, going back and forth, this, that, and the other. But now 2 years down the line, remember, when him and I went on our first date, I was just getting my feet wet in the dating scene. Now, 2 years later, he caught me at a bad time again, because now I was dating. It wasn't serious, but I was dating. I was enjoying my time, as they say now, in the streets. So I was enjoying the going on different dates. And even though I wasn't being intimate with all these men, I was enjoying the attention and enjoying my self-esteem and everything just, growing and growing and getting better and stronger. And so when we went on this date again, I wasn't hooked on some man, no, but I was enjoying just doing my own thing and being out there. And through us having such a romantic dinner, guys, he did everything to impress me that night. I remember he did everything to impress me that night. Towards the end, he kind of laughed, and I was like, what's so funny? And he was like, I don't know what it is, Lala. We just don't seem to catch each other at a good place. And I like you so much. That's why I asked you on this date again. But I can now honestly say I've tried. And this is not going to work. It's not going to work. I see it. It's not going to work. You are not in this headspace. You are doing your own thing. I can see you're a lot more out there, which is good for you. At that point, my brand was even growing. He was telling me, I'm seeing you on social media. I'm seeing all of these things happening for you. It's just not the right time. And it leads me to believe that we're probably just not meant to be. This time round, that kind of stung, because as much as, again, he wasn't lying, I still wanted that opportunity. But in retrospect, would it have been fair? Because that opportunity was going to be at his expense. He could already see what was going on. And to avoid what could have possibly been, he walked away. And, after that, we just never saw each other. We just didn't see each other. This time round, he didn't bother calling. We did not see each other. In this situation, looking back at when him and I met, to the first time when we went on our date, to our second date, this man's value, who he was as a person, and I'm not talking about value in terms of his accumulating finances, his wealth and his status. I'm talking about who he was as a person, what he wanted to teach, what he wanted to be taught. His person, his spirit, his nature, his beliefs, his upbringing. This man was valuable. He would have taught me so much and been so much to me. But I couldn't see it. The first time round, it was because my heart had been broken, and at that point I wasn't ready to get back into the space. And the second time round, it was because, again, I was enjoying the attention I was getting from all those other people I had been going on dates with and doing this. And so, again, I could not see his value, his worth. And he saw it. He knew what he had to offer. He knew what he wanted. And so he walked away. And then many years after the fact, at this point, I was still friends with my girlfriend, one of my girlfriends, who became a sister to me. And that situation happened, and we can box it and shelve it, because that was like a chapter closed, and I haven't seen or heard from him again. And if I were to hear he was married, I wouldn't be surprised. He's an incredible man, good looking, put together. And what happened there is what happened there. And then, of course, all these years later, with my girlfriend, she and I were super close. Now, this is about how my worth was undermined. My worth was not acknowledged. My value was not acknowledged. Her and I were sisters. We moved everywhere together. She was that person to me. I loved her. My family knew her. I loved her. She was my best friend. She was honestly my best friend. She was my sister. She was my go-to person. But as the relationship grew, baby girl became too comfortable. She became too comfortable because she was aware of how much I loved her and how I was always there for her, that she felt, I hate it when lipstick does this, sorry. She felt like she didn't have to try as hard anymore or be as present in the dynamic anymore, because our friendship, our sisterhood, our bond was already solidified and on lock, that at this point she started focusing on trying to find a man, trying to find a guy to wife her. And in the process of that, many a times she made me feel underappreciated. Let me give you guys examples. There was a time when she was dating a guy. Now, mind you, at this point, her and I had been friends for years. She's dating this guy, and for some reason, this guy doesn't like her and our friendship. He doesn't like our friendship. He's told her that he doesn't like the type of guys that I could possibly introduce her to, because I knew guys. At that point, my brand was growing, so I was getting introduced to guys who had the financial means and who were on a certain level, and he didn't like it. He felt insecure. And so what did he do? He started to play games like, I don't want you to go to Lala's birthday celebration. And because of how much she started to value this man, what did she do? Didn't come to my birthday celebration. And this was my best friend, my sister. We were like this. Another example is the 1 year on her birthday. Her and I had planned that we were going to go for brunch and then maybe meet up with people later on that evening. And so I woke up that morning, I made sure that I was ready. I got up, I drove around looking for an outfit to wear to her birthday celebration, because I knew she wanted me to come through looking bomb. She'd already told me what she was going to wear. So I got up that morning, went to go look for an outfit, and I said to her, I'm going to meet you at this and this time at the rooftop in Sandton. And she was like, that's perfect. Let's go and meet there. And so I went shopping, all of that. Spent my whole morning doing it. Eventually, I call her on the phone and I say, I'm at home. I'm just about to finish getting ready. I'll be there at the mall, because she'd already been at the mall. She wanted to go shopping before I came and joined her. So I said to her, I'm at the mall. I'm at my house. I'm about to leave. See you in a bit. And she said, no, wait. I'll tell you when to come. I've just met some guy here and I think I want to do brunch with him. That was it for me. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, many a times I had felt like, because she understood the love and the bond and the sisterhood, and because it was so solidified, because she knew regardless of what was going on, I was there. I was there for her. She started to toy with my value. She started to put people above me. It would have been a different story if that was always the plan. But for you to go to the mall and meet a complete stranger and want to change your plans for your very close friend at the time, your best friend at that time, to me is like, what are you saying? What are you doing? Could you not have told this guy, like, yo, let's switch numbers, but, you know, I'm meeting my girl, maybe we can link up later on today, even that would have been better. But for you to tell me, no, don't come anymore, maybe we can link up later, I've just met some guy in the mall and I want to go on a date with him. And that's when I realized that this person doesn't value me. This person doesn't, in this situation, it was not that she didn't see my value. She saw it, but was not treating me accordingly. In the situation with the guy, I didn't see it. And by the time I did discover it, he was already gone. The point I'm trying to make through this video, this is not to shade or shame anybody. The point I'm trying to make in this video is that no amount of being a good person, whether it be a lover, a sister, a friend, whatever, no amount of it, even a man, no amount of being a good person guarantees that, number one, the person will see your value, or number two, will see it and still treat you like you are valuable. No amount of that. There is no guarantee. There is no guarantee. And so when I do my story times and my lives and people are saying, but I was this and I was that, is this, I was that, I wish people understood that all those terrible things the person was to you was never a reflection about you and your worth and your value. It was never. It was that one, they didn't see your value, or two, they saw it and they just didn't want to treat you accordingly. It's simple. And so when we take on all this shame and this blame, you're poisoning yourself. Simple. You're poisoning yourself. You're punishing yourself for something you had no hand in. You're punishing yourself. And I'm learning, because people always ask me, Lala, with all the stories you've told us about how your boyfriends, you've had 3 situations where your boyfriends have cheated on you. You've had 3 situations where your boyfriends have cheated on you with your friends. You've had a situation where 2 guys have gotten married on you, and another situation where your family member started dating one of your guys. How are you still moving? How are you still pushing forward? And my thing is, one of the most fundamental truths, a truth that I would not replace for anything, it has been the most valuable lesson I have learned, is that your sense of value, your worth, who you are, the only people or the only person who has to know and truly understand your value is yourself. I'll say that again. The most important person who has to see, acknowledge, and completely, what is the word? Embrace your worth and your value is yourself. I learned that my biggest issue was, because I knew the type of woman I was and what I had to offer, I looked to other people to treat me like that. That's not wrong. That's not wrong at all. But the issue was, I didn't 100% value or acknowledge myself or know my worth and my value, because I let those people treat me badly. It was only when I started to understand my value, and my understanding was through my relationship with God, understanding my value through Christ and through the church, and understanding what it is and who it is God has called me to be, the type of person He has created, the spirit that He has put in me. It was only through that I realized, truly understood my value. And because I understand my value better, I don't deal with situations or people that make me feel undervalued. Not too long ago, I was speaking to a guy, and him and I were hitting it off, and he started flirting with my friend. And in that moment, I told him, like, this is disrespectful, this was whatever. After that fact, I never went back to him. Never went back to his house, never tried to hang out with him, this, that, and again. Why? Because I see, you've already shown me you don't value me. You either don't see my value or you see it, but you don't care to treat me accordingly. Never went back there. Now, the old Lala would have still gone back to try and figure out, can I show you? Can I teach you? No. It's either one of two things. You don't know my value, or you know it and choose not to show me or treat me accordingly. Either which way, I'm not dealing, because I know my value. And that's the thing I want to encourage people about. This isn't just an empowerment for women. This is just for everybody, male or female. Homie, baby girl, when you understand your value, there are certain situations and there are certain people you are no longer going to entertain. Simple.